Today in our 2015 Ford Fiesta ST hatchback, we'll be installing the Roadmaster taillight wiring kit for towed vehicles. It's an LED bulb and socket, part number RM-152-LED. This is completely independent from your vehicle wiring, so you don't have to tap into your factory wiring. It's an auxiliary bulb that goes into the taillight housing. This provides proper lighting functions to your vehicle while flat towing your car without putting any stress on your factory wiring. Okay, here's what our kit consists of. We have our two LED bulbs here, which will go into our taillight assemblies. These will function for our taillights off this brown wire and our turn signals and brake lights off this red wire. And additionally, this black wire here is our ground wire. They're both the same. These are red LEDs. We have a couple various size butt connectors here to make our connections. We have a self-tapping screw and a ring terminal here for our ground connection to the body. We have a few zip ties. Additionally, we have a loop of wiring. It's your standard 4-pole flat trailer wiring, which will run from the front of the vehicle to the rear and will make our connection to our lights off this wire. It's a good idea to run your wiring at the front of your vehicle while the fascia is removed during the installation of your base plate. We'll take our 4-pole flat trailer wiring, go behind our base plate, and underneath this air dam behind our fascia. I wrap some of the wire in black electrical tape to hide it behind the grille once that is installed. Once you have that in place, as well as your base plate, you can reinstall your fascia. As you can see in our base plate here, we have these nice two little studs hanging out that we can mount our trailer wiring connector to, and our wire sticking right here. We'll go ahead and grab it with the hook, and we'll pull it on out so we can access it. Now, for the front of our vehicle, we're going to be using a Roadmaster 6-wire trailer connector, part number RM-910030-7. This will allow us to make our connections to the 4-pole flat trailer wiring, and then have the place for our umbilical cable to make the connection between our Fiesta ST here today and our motorhome that will be pulling it. Now we need to find out about how much of this grille opening here we're going to need to trim to install our connector. I'm going to start right here and just trim this section out. Just use a pair of side cutters here and we'll trim away. So we'll take our wire here. We'll untape it from the base plate. We'll start with separating our wires here. Just go between them with the side cutters. Then we're going to trim off a little bit of the ends in case they were damaged when we separated them. Now we'll strip back the ends a little bit. Twist the wires together so they go into our connector nice and easily. Take our rubber cap here, slide it over the wires. Take our connector and we'll loosen up the terminals we need. We need TM here for the tail lights. This will go to the brown wire. We need the GD for the ground, which will go to the white wire. We need the LT for left turn signal and brake, which will go to the yellow wire, and the RT for right turn signal and brake, which will go to the green wire. We'll start with the right one, the green wire, insert it into the RT terminal, just like so, and then we'll tighten down the screw. Make sure it's nice and tight, which it is. And then we'll go to the left turn signal, the yellow one, then the ground, the white wire, and finally the tail lights, the brown wire. Now we can take our dust cover here, which we make sure our wires are nice and secure, which they are. We'll slide it down until it stops, and then we'll seal our connection here with electrical tape and cover up the rest of the wire. And this will just keep any dirt, debris, or moisture from entering and causing a poor connection or a short. Okay, with that wrapped up all the way, we'll stick it back inside our fascia here. Take some self-tapping screws, get them started, then we'll tighten them down fully. Okay, this gives us a nice solid connection point for our wiring. Now we can begin running our wiring. We're going to want to route this behind the engine compartment, avoiding any moving parts or sources of heat. Now it's always a good idea, in case we're going to add a supplemental braking system later, to leave a little loop of wire hanging here in case our braking system needs to tie into that. So we'll have a nice little loop here and we'll zip tie it up to these hoses right here, just so we have it if we ever need it. Now we will continue running our wire down behind our battery and behind these brake lines in front of the master cylinder. Okay, where it's routed at now, we'll be able to reach from underneath and pull our wires on through and down out the bottom of the vehicle. Okay, so we're routing it to the side of our steering shaft. The steering shaft is encased in a plastic part, so it won't come in contact with any moving pieces. Going over our rack and pinion and our subframe here, we can pull our wire on down. All right, so when our wire came down from the side of our steering shaft here, we have it secured to this wire line here. And with a zip tie, we'll go and trim that back. We went down, we used a pull wire to feed it through the channel here in our frame rail, and it goes all the way through this till it comes out the back. So it comes out the back here, right in front of our gas tank. Then our wire goes over the gas tank, and it comes back out where the filler neck attaches to the gas tank. We go over the filler neck. We have it secured to this wiring harness here with another zip tie. We'll go ahead and trim that back. We'll follow that wire harness along back to where it starts to go up towards our bumper. We have it secured there with our zip tie. All right, now if our wire routed this far back, we'll go ahead and lower the vehicle down and remove our taillight assemblies and feed the wire on up. Now we'll use a T25 Torx bit and remove the two screws that hold our taillight assembly in on either side. Set the screws down so we don't lose them. Grab the taillight, pull it out towards us. Go ahead and undo the bulbs here. I'll pull the taillight out. I'll set it down in the trunk. I'll do the same on the other side. Now with our driver's side taillight here on a nice padded soft surface so we don't scratch it, we need to drill a hole for our LED light to go into. Now, I already went ahead and marked with a paint marker here, nice little bullseye where we need to drill our pilot hole to start. It's a good idea to have a shop vac handy to suck up any of the plastic shavings so they don't go down inside our taillight and we have a difficulty removing them later. So we'll go ahead and turn it on and drill our pilot hole. With our pilot hole drilled, we will switch out to an inch diameter hole saw bit. With our hole drilled, we'll turn our light upside down, make sure we shake out whatever is left inside, use our vacuum to get it out. Now our bulb goes down there nice and easy. We're going to go ahead and bend some of these tabs out here so it'll clip into place easy. We'll just use a screwdriver to do that. So we'll just bend these out slightly. Push it on in. Okay. Once we have it nice and pushed in there and it's nice and solid, we'll take some silicone and seal around it so we don't get any moisture inside. So we'll just make a nice healthy bead around it. And we'll push it on in. Make sure it seals nice and evenly. And we'll let this dry for a bit. We'll do the same on the other side. Now that both of our tail lights have the lights mounted and sealed, we'll take this pull wire here on the driver's side, just an old piece of airline tubing that we have laying around. We'll go through this hole here that's already in the bumper, and it'll come out underneath our car. And we will tape the end of our wire to our pull wire with some electrical tape. Okay, with our wire taped to our pull wire, we'll pull it on up into our vehicle now. Okay, perfect. Now we'll go ahead and separate all 4 of our wires here. Now since we're on the left side of the vehicle, we'll take the yellow wire here for our left turn signal and brake, and we'll cut off the excess. Take our wire strippers, trim off a little bit here. Take a blue butt connector that's provided. Stick it on there. And we'll crimp it into place. Okay, we actually have just enough room to sit our light here inside the hatch, and we can make our connections. The yellow wire is going to go to the red on our driver's side tail light. Strip off a little bit more here. And we'll crimp it down. Then we'll wrap our connection in some electrical tape. This will just help seal it up to prevent any moisture from entering, potentially causing corrosion. Now we'll take the brown wire and we'll cut off some excess here. And strip it back. Take the other end of the brown wire that we just cut off, strip it back, and we'll tie the 2 together. Now we'll take one of the yellow butt connectors that comes in our kit. We'll insert it over the wire. We'll crimp it down. Take the brown wire from our light that we added. We'll strip off a little bit more insulation than we normally would need. Expose about that much wire. Fold it back on itself. And then we'll insert it the other end of the yellow butt connector. And we'll crimp it down. Then we'll wrap this with electrical tape as well. Take our white wire here, cut off the excess. Strip it back. Take another end. Tie it together. Take another yellow butt connector. Strip off the black wire here on our light. Again, making sure we take off a little bit more than what we're actually going to need. Fold it back in half on itself. Just like so. This is to give us a little extra thickness to fit inside the yellow butt connector nice and tight. Insert it. And we'll crimp it on down. Now I'll peel back this weather stripping here a bit. Just by pulling it out towards us. Now we'll take our wires here and we'll route them behind the weather stripping, behind the bumper cover. And up over to our passenger side. With our wires routed over to the passenger side, we can reinstall our weather stripping now. Just by pushing it back into place on the ridge. Okay, if our wire's routed over, we'll start making our connections. Take our brown wire here, cut off some excess. Get rid of the excess. Strip off both ends. And then we'll connect them with a blue butt connector once we twist the wires together a little bit. Wrap it with electrical tape. Take our green wire now. Cut off our excess. Strip off the insulation. Wrap it up again. Now we'll go to our ground wire. Measure off how much we're going to need. Cut off the excess. Take both ends now. We'll tie them together. Do yellow butt connector. Crimp it on down. Take our final wire here, the black one. Strip off a bit, more than we're going to need. A little bit more than that actually. Fold it back in half and insert it into the yellow butt connector. And then we'll crimp it down. Wrap our connector up in electrical tape here. Now the end of our white wire that we added, strip back some of the insulation like so. And we'll take our blue ring terminal that we have. We'll crimp it down onto it. Now for a white wire with a ring terminal on it, we'll go ahead, stick our self-tapping screw that's provided on, and we'll go to a solid metal surface on the car. This is just an additional ground in addition to the one that's added to the front. Now we'll take our taillight assembly here. We'll reinstall the factory bulbs, starting with the turn signal bulb here. Do the reverse light next. And then the tail light and brake light. Make sure our wires here are nice and tucked up behind. And we'll reinstall our tail light assembly. Now we'll secure it with the two T25 screws that we removed. Okay, perfect. Now I'll do the same on the other side. Now that we have everything hooked back up, we can begin testing our lights. We have our car hooked up to a Tow Doctor trailer tester, part number HM50928. Alternatively, you can also just plug it in the back of your RV. I'm going to go ahead and turn the tail lights on. As you can see, we have functioning tail lights on both sides of our vehicle. Now, I'm going to independently activate the left brake light. This will also double as our turn signal. As you can see, it's brighter than our tail light. I'll turn our tail lights back on, and then I'll activate the right brake light independently. As you can see, it's also brighter than what our tail lights are. And that completes our installation of the Roadmaster tail light wiring kit for towed vehicles with an LED bulb and socket, part number RM-152-LED, on our 2015 Ford Fiesta ST hatchback.
Click the link below to shop, learn more, or visit us at etrailer.com.